Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
Yeah, boy. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hope all my audio and everything is set up correctly. Doing something a little different today. Give me a sip of this water real quick, man. How y'all doing out there today, man? Welcome y'all to the Father's Day show. This is gonna be a quick episode. I always say that and it end up going long, but I'm gonna keep it under 45 minutes today. We're not gonna keep y'all here too long. I just want to touch on a few things I've been reading this week. This is a makeup show. It's pre-recorded. This is the show from Sunday. I'm dropping it today on Wednesday. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want to make sure you guys, if you haven't already, please go follow, like, and subscribe. All that good stuff that we tell you when you're watching channels to help us grow. That really does help, though, man. It helps YouTube recognize that we are a channel of importance. If it's of importance to you, please like it. If you care to see more content from SP Media, such as this content or some silly content that we have all over the page, please subscribe to the channel. If you want others to see it as well, and this is important to you and you want to share with others, please do so and share the content. We greatly appreciate that. Today, I want to talk about something. Like I said, I'm going to be real quick. Talk about something that this channel. This Father's Day thing is really important to me because I want, like I said, my goal of this show is to build up the role, build up the respect, build up the attention, the awareness of what fathers go through, what fathers deal with, how fathers live, the interaction that we have with our children on a regular basis, on an irregular basis in some cases. I touch on all types of things that fathers may be going through, and I want to bring it to the world so the world can be aware of it, because I want Father's Day, I want fathers in general in America to be worshipped and praised just as much as the mother's role is. The mother's role is extremely important, and I do not want to minimize that. The goal of this show is not to minimize the role and the impact of the mothers, but it's definitely to lift up the role and the impact and the importance of fathers. So I hope I get that message across through my episodes that I have on this show. Today I'm alone, as you can see, but I wanted to touch these topics, man, because this topic today is very important to me, and it's entitled Estranged. Where have you been? A lot of there's a stigma in America, especially when it comes to black fathers, that the black father isn't necessarily in the lives of our children on a regular basis. Some studies show opposite, that black fathers have the most attention to their children when it comes to how we are involved in our children's lives. But the topic of today is estranged. Estranged, if you don't know what it means, basically, without going to the dictionary, it means you aren't there. You are a stranger. Keyword in estranged is strange. You're weird. You're not here. You're not normal. It's not normal to see you. It's not normal to be around you. We don't interact on a regular basis. You are pretty much absent your child's life. So to be estranged, that is kind of like a nightmare. It's like it's absent being dead, passed away. Estranged is close to that as you can be. It's one thing if you're dead, you don't have the option to be this. You're going to be absent your child's life, period. But to be alive and not be there, that in some senses can be worse than being deceased. For your child to know that you exist, know that you're here, but not be around, not be actively involved, and come around once a year, if so, you don't talk to him or her. It's just, you don't want to be that father. And I wanted to touch on this topic because there are fathers out there who are estranged and would like to be back in their children's lives but don't know how. There are children out there who are dealing with an estranged parent, an estranged father. This is the Father's Day show. We're gonna keep it on the men. There are children out there who are dealing with that and we may not know what to do. And it's not necessarily the child's responsibility, from my opinion, to address the estrangement of the absentee father. So for the fathers out there who are estranged and want to change that or hope to change that, or even if you don't care to change it at this current moment, hopefully this episode may give you some tools or give you some type of insight on wanting to change that. And for the fathers who are estranged and want to do better but don't know how, this episode hopefully will give you some insight onto how to go about that. I'm not an estranged father. Some will say I am, but I know I'm not. That's neither here nor there. But the main point I want to show is that this is not something that we should necessarily play around with, because like I said, the role of the father is extremely important, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to tell you why in a quick second, if I didn't already do that. But I'm gonna go over something. I read an article from a doctor, and I'm gonna go over that with her briefly. I also looked up some stuff online. I came up with a quick little list from WikiHow. I'm gonna show you guys in a second that this estrangement, man, I'm rambling right now because I'm all over the place. I'm trying to process like 50 different emotions in my head while trying to stay calm and get this message out, because like I said, estrangement is something that a lot of people are going through, and the children out there need their fathers to be present in their lives. So let me just skip right, go straight to it. Check this out right here. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. This is something you can see on WikiHow. It's not showing. Let me check real quick. It's not showing my my cursor. Show my cursor. Show my cursor. Is it gonna show up? I'm gonna get this. Give me a quick second. I should have never changed it. Lord have mercy. Lord. Is that it? Nope. There we go. We black. All right, so forget the cursor. It's not showing my cursor, but we still gonna keep it moving anyway. Right here is an article I found on WikiHow talking about how to tell how to tell a child about an absent parent. And this more so has something to do with the wording in this article is approaching it as if it's a mom telling a child about an absentee father. And of course, there are absentee moms on out there, but we're gonna focus on the father. And it seems like this article as well is pretty much saying that the father is absent, man. But anyway, has mom or dad gone to defend the peace somewhere else in the world? Did they have more access to country? Did they move across the country for a new job? No matter what the reason, it can be difficult to explain the absence of a parent to children when you're the parent left behind to care for them. The right approach depends on the reason for the absence, the possible outcomes, and the age and maturity levels of the child. So when it comes to telling your children, if you're the custodial parent or you're the parent that's left with the child and you're talking about it to your child, the age level and maturity of the child does come into play. You want to make sure that when it comes to children who are adolescents, as you would say, toddlers, and pretty much not teenagers or whatever, you want to make sure you want to be honest with them, but you may need to spare them details. Especially according to this article, it approaches, it talks more so to younger children, but you want to make sure that you are aware of, as fathers, you want to make sure that you're aware that you take advantage of. I mean, you pay attention to the age of the child, and you don't give them certain information, or you give them certain information depending on how old they are and the maturity level of your child. If you're dealing with a child who's emotionally unstable, for instance, you don't want to throw too much on them in the beginning. You want to kind of ease them into it, as well as you want to be a parent that is open to allow them to express their feelings and opinions about whatever it is you're talking about when it comes to their parents. And this article on WikiHow approaches I think about 3 different points of approach. The first one is be honest about a parent who has never been involved. So a parent who's never been involved, that may be, I don't want to say it may be easier for the child, but it may be easier to explain to the child. And I say that because if a father was involved in their child's life and they have left, the child has some form of attachment or acknowledgement of the father being there, being active in their life, and now they're gone. So to explain to a child who's never experienced their father as to why the child's there, because there's no emotional attachment to that parent and never was, explaining to them may be a quite easier, because to the child it may just be it's purely information and there is no real emotional connection involved. The article goes on. It says questions about an absent parent will most likely begin when your child starts school or begin learning more about classmates' families. Answer basic questions about who the parent is, and consider sharing a photograph if you have one. Tell your child that all families are different, and remind her about all the people who love her. Try using examples from books, movies, or from real life to teach her about all different kinds of families. Be upfront about the likelihood of your child ever meeting the other parent. If the other parent has no interest in being involved, or you are not able to contact them, don't get your child's hopes up by promising an eventual meeting. Make sure you emphasize that this is not the child's fault in any way. Keep personal feelings. This last one is very important. Keep your personal feelings to yourself as much as possible. You can share more details about the circumstances of the other parent's absence as your child gets older, but try not to say negative things about the other parent. These points when it comes to being honest with the child who has never had a parent that's involved, that's very important, because like I said, the child may have some kind of a disconnect from the parent that's never been there, but the last point of to not introduce your personal feelings, to me, is very important, because when you have a child who's disconnected from their absentee or estranged parent, if you start to insert personal feelings, which you're tend to gonna have negative feelings about the parent not being there because you're taking care of the child by yourself, you don't have anybody to communicate with, the separation of the parents probably became because of some negative event. You don't want to influence or passively influence that child to start thinking negative thoughts about that estranged father or mother, because you want to put your personal feelings on that child through the explanation. So you want to be honest. You want to give basic examples of stories, as it said. You can explain stories in books or movies that you've read to try to explain your situation, to better explain that. I said explain about 7 times when I was explaining what I was talking about. Let me explain, or whatever. But yeah, please make sure you don't put any personal feelings, especially negative ones, while explaining this to your children. Moving on. The second one is prepare your child for business-related advances. Prepare your child for business-related absences in advance. If the absence is predictable and irregular, tell your child when the other parent is coming back by showing them a calendar and taking it all over with them. That's a little excessive to me, but it's still let me show. I'm gonna submit my screen. I'm tripping. That's a little excessive, but it may work for some people. Discuss regular travel as a family so that it becomes a normal expectation within the family, and all members can be prepared for the parent to miss occasional special events such as sports games, blah blah blah. All right, So it gives a couple examples. If business trips regularly occur with little warning, be sure to explain that as well, so there will be no surprises. Help your child keep in touch with the absent parent by arranging phone calls or video chats, so you can encourage the parent who is away to bring the child back souvenirs and travel and stuff. All right, so there are a lot of people out there dealing with absentee or estranged fathers due to business. Your dad, your mom may be a stay-at-home mom, and the dad may be doing business internationally, across the country and whatnot, and you would want that child to continue to have a relationship with their parent, but may not know how to do so. So it says things like keep your child in touch with the parent by arranging phone calls and video chats. Today's world, man, the technology here, there shouldn't be a real reason why parents who live far away from their children or do business away from their child should not still have some form of interaction with their child. I have children that are out of town, and I regularly get on Google Duo and I talk to them face to face. There are situations where that may not happen, such as I have two younger children who I have to work through their mother to interact with them. They don't have phone devices of their own. The older one does, but you know, he's more of a video gamer, so you know, it's kind of hard to get him focused to answer and be more interactive that way. So I would have to still go through his mother in that sense. But in this situation where the father is estranged and the mother is making an attempt to contact the father to have those video chats and phone calls, as a father, man, you got to make sure that you're answering that phone. You also got to make sure that you're the one calling. Don't just be the parent that just sits back and waits for your parent. Wait for your child to call you just to keep in touch, man. If you want to be there but you can't because of business, don't let the business distract you too much from becoming from staying in touch with your children, because, like I said, this leads to estrangement. The child didn't ask to be here. You brought this child into this world. You have a responsibility to make sure you maintain that relationship, because once you become estranged, man, to that child, they're young-minded. They don't know how to manage those feelings of absentness. They'll just probably take it in a negative way. They'll probably feel like you don't want them. They'll probably feel like you don't care, that your job may be more important, and you don't want that to happen, man. That is the last thing you want. It's for your child to feel like your child does not or think you don't care too much about them. The next topic approaches military fathers. All right, so here it says explain military absences according to the advice that your deployment officers provide. Now, I'm not a military child. I don't know too much about this, but I'm sure the military does give you some type of advice when it comes to being a deployed soldier and dealing with your children and your family. So be sure, if you're dealing with your child or dealing with being estranged from your family, from your children, be sure to follow whatever guidelines that the military, your branch of military gives you. Also, you can seek counsel to talk to other people about what's going on. Use other soldiers and see how they're coping with it, see how they're dealing with it. It says here, be as honest as your child permits. Be as honest as the age of your child permits. A toddler only needs to know about that daddy will be back for Christmas, while a teenager will need to know the truth about the length of the deployment and where the parent will be. That's very important, man. Like I said earlier, smaller children may need to be skipped over details, man. Just give them the basics of what's going on. Be honest with them, tell them the truth about it, and it should take care of itself. But as a teenager, man, teenagers they're recognizing the world, man. Teenagers know what's really going on out here. You can't, especially with the internet, man. You can't be lying to your children, man. I tell my children, once they get age 10, double age, I give them the truth. I don't necessarily divulge truth to them off the rip, but if they come to me with questions about something, I will give them the honest answer about it. Some details will be spared because they may not be of age to handle it, but I don't necessarily lie to them. I be honest and upfront about what's going on so that their minds can cope with it and deal with what's really going on versus what they think and believe. Include your child in your communications with the absent parent. Include letters, phone calls as much as possible. And this is pretty much a repeat of the same thing. You want to make sure that you're communicating with your children as the estranged father. You don't want to just sit back and just hope that the interaction that you had with them before your deployment will hold the relationship together, because a lot of the times it don't. Their lives are going to continue to go on, big dog. These children and these mothers out here who are taking care of these kids on their own, because whether it be business related, the father want to leave, or military or whatever, they're still gonna be out here living their life, man. So you got to make it a point to be in your child's life when it comes to your deployment. This is the last one. I think this is the last one. It's two more, but I'm gonna just touch on. I'm gonna skip over this one right here, because this one is very important to me right here. Breakups happen, man. Breakups happen, and you don't want to be the parent that has to deal. Now I'm gonna approach something else at the after this last topic. We're gonna talk about a secondary part of this estrangement. You don't want to be the parent that loses the relationship with your children because of a breakup, right? Or because you moved on, or if the parent passes away. If the parent passes away, the parent who's left has a responsibility to maintain the relationship, or I would say maintain the acknowledgement and the care and the sense of fatherhood or absentee parent. The parent that still here has a responsibility to keep that on the child. You want to tell that child positive things about their parent when they were here. You want to be honest with them about their parent. Remind them of the memory of their child. This here says on WikiHow says, be honest if the absence is forever. Be sure to tell your child that the absence has nothing to do with her or him or her, and answer any question she or he has honestly. If a parent has separated from the marriage and family, you have to be honest without letting any anger get in the way. For example, you could say, Daddy loves you, but was unhappy with his life, so he has gone to live in Vegas. We'll do our best to keep in touch, but it will be hard sometimes. I can give you his address if you like to write to see how he's doing. Now, I like that response, because what that response does, it covers a lot of things. It's like when you write a business letter to address an issue at your job or something. You don't just go straight to talking about job, I'm mad at this right there. You gotta ease the company into the conversation by acknowledging what you do for them and how they benefit you. Give them a pat on the back, give them some kind of thanks or praise or acknowledgement of positive affirmation first, and then slowly slide into it with honesty, and then end it with you wanting to show how you can help them as well. So this message here starts off by saying, Daddy loves you. It makes the child feel at ease that Daddy loves me, but was unhappy with his life, so he has gone to live in Vegas. So it makes the child feel great, but it addresses the problem and as well as why the parent has left. Then it goes on to say, we'll do our best to keep in touch, but it will be hard sometimes. It lets the child know, even though the problem is here, we're gonna still assert, we're gonna show our father how we can benefit him. We're gonna tell the job how we benefit the job. We're gonna say, Daddy, we're gonna try our best to keep in contact with you, but it will be tough. And it ends by saying, I can give you his address if you like to write and see how he's doing. It adds some type of solution as to how to deal with this absence of the father being away in Vegas. So this example actually is a pretty good example of how the current parent should deal with a child whose father has moved away. If the parent passes away, be open and honest, and encourage the child to express her emotions and help her cope with her grief as best as you can. Now, when it comes to that, as you can see on the bottom, when it comes to that, you want to make sure that, like you said, allow the child to cope with their feelings to best deal with that situation. As far as the father on the side of moving away, what we got to do, man, it all comes back to what I was saying again. We have to make sure we are keeping in contact with our children. If you're going to be away permanently and you want to separate your life from your children, that's something that I'm not here to tell you that what you should and should not do, but I'm going to tell you any goddamn way. Your children have nothing to do with you separating from your family. If you are the type of father who wants to leave your family, leave the family. but your children should not be left. The family unit, I should say. You can, if you want to separate from your children and the woman as a unit, you can separate as a unit. We're free to do that. But those children need you, dog. Them children need both parents equally. We talked about that in the previous episode about how the children need to develop the balance of the love and masculine and feminine energy from both the parents. Now, if you don't want to do that, I would tell the parent who's still there to seek that positive male energy from a good reputable source, whether it be an uncle, a big brother, or a spouse that you vetted out to step in place for that, so that child can have some type of positive male role in the development of their child. Now, this next segment that I'm gonna go into, and I'll be done. It's 20 minutes in right now. I'm just gonna go over this briefly. I read an article by Dr. Jan Anderson and what I read from her website. She has a website called drjananderson.com, and it's I guess an article on here called LifeWise. It addresses the feelings that a parent goes through when they are the estranged parent. So the first part of this conversation talked about how to cope with dealing with telling your children how to deal with the estrangement of a parent. Now, this second part is going to talk about how the parent who is considered to be estranged and wants to get back in their lives, how they can cope with that and manage that situation to get back into their child's lives possibly. It addresses the situation more so to adult estrangement, like if your children are grown, but I think the principles of this article still remain the same, and we're going to go over there right now. So here's the website. At the top it says drjananderson.com. If you want to check her out, no affiliation here, but it's something I found very positive. Here's a YouTube video that talks about what she's going through. It's a short video, 3 minutes long. You can probably check it out if you want. The article is titled "Estranged: What to Do When Your Child Wants Nothing to Do with You." And if you can read the article on your own. It's a pretty short article, but it addresses pretty key topics and points about what's going on and her point and what she means when she wants to help a parent get back into their child's life. And here's 3 points. She has 3 key points here. She says, seek support, seek connection, and seek forgiveness. I'm gonna read these 3 real quick and just touch on them, and then we'll move on and let you guys go on with your day. And again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Father's Day show. This is a solo show here, a makeup show for this past Sunday. I'm dropping today on Wednesday. If you be sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Check us out on Facebook at Father's Day Show. Check us out here on YouTube, on SPMediaTV. Click on the playlist, Father's Day playlist, on the channel page. So seek support. Now, before I get to those, I want to say, just touch on this real quick. As an estranged parent, I mean, if you are an estranged parent, it can lead to so many different negative feelings, man. It may make you regret holidays. It may make you feel like you're less than. It may make you feel like your children don't care to be involved in your life. It can have such a negative impact on who you are as a person, how you move about your day-to-day activities, the depression that could set in with having your children not care about you or feeling like you have let them down, the disappointment, the anxiety, all these negative emotions that could develop from you being absent from your child's life or being considered estranged from your children. They can have a heavy toll on you, man. And you want to make sure, as the parent who's considered estranged, you want to make sure you are aware of what's happening to you emotionally. Because to not do so, you have the possibility of slipping into depression even deeper. You have the possibility of coming down to yourself so heavy that you don't even make an effort or a real effort and attempt to get into your children's lives to possibly reverse those negative feelings of you. So many negative things can happen. I use the word negative 538 times. They can result as all from just you being separated, estranged from your children. So be aware of what's going on with you emotionally, so you can maintain that and and stay on top of yourself emotionally, as well as seek information to help you change the atmosphere of your relationship with your children. if you're estranged and you want to be back in your child's life, what do you think the first thing you should do, or what are some things you should do on a basic level if you want to change that? The obvious thing for me anyway is to communicate. Try your best to communicate, whether it be through calling the mother of the children. If the children don't care to see you, call the mother of the children and communicate through her. Call family members. Hey man, have you seen my son? Hey man, I know I ain't talked to him in a while. He's not answering the phone, man. But just cuzzo, man, if you see him, man, if you call him and just tell him his dad love him and he want to just talk to him for a minute. I know he's mad, but just tell him his dad is on his mind. Tell him his dad wants to talk to him. Tell him his dad loves him. You know, communicate. If you can't talk to him directly, talk to him indirectly through a friend or a family member to have them communicate. But some form of communication is better than no form of communication. So for me, the obvious thing to do would be to focus on communication. A next thing would be to focus on yourself. Make sure you as the estranged parent is in a place to receive information, a place of positivity to receive information. Guess what? If you're an estranged parent, more than likely your child is going to have no or negative feelings, no feelings about you or negative feelings about you, no thoughts about you or negative thoughts about you. So if you're going to start the communication process, you're probably going to run, and you start to communicate with your children, you're probably going to run into your child being upset with you and voicing that opinion. You're going to need to be able to handle all of those thoughts. Like we were discussing earlier about how to tell your child about an estranged parent. Part of the things that you got to talk about is allowing that child to feel, allowing that child to voice their opinion, allowing that child to cope, to deal with how they deal with it. Your child may come at you, F you, dad, F you. You ain't there, you ain't been there. And even if there's a legitimate reason why, allow that child to express it, man. Talk to your children are human. Your children are human. They need to be able to express to you as the parent everything that's on their mind and heart. To know that you're gonna allow them to do that. Hell, don't be like, you're my child, don't talk to me that way. No, allow them to express themselves, even if it comes off disrespectful. Because guess what? That respectful attitude is coming from a place that's within them. You can't take that away. The same depression you have by being away from your child and knowing your child don't want to be with you or see you, those negative feelings you have, you want to get rid of them, right? But what if them telling you off helps them get rid of that feeling, get it off their chest? So be open to listening to your child and letting them get it off their chest, man. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and keep moving on. The first thing she does when it comes to being a parent who's estranged and wanting to get back in their child's life, and is going through it emotionally, she says seek support. Healing from the psychological challenges of estrangement involves dealing with feelings of profound vulnerability. Again, this is off of Dr. J. Anderson, DRJAN Anderson.com, drjananderson.com. Healing from the psychological challenge of estrangement involves dealing with feelings of profound vulnerability. Shore up your psychological strength by seeking the support of those that understand estrangement and can help. If close friends and relatives do not have the skills to help you or simply aren't able to provide the degree of emotional support you need, seek professional help or join an online support group such as dailystrength.org/group. That's what I was saying earlier, man. You got to seek support, man. If you don't, you need to be aware of what you're dealing with emotionally. You won't even be able to seek support if you're not aware that you even need it. So being aware of what you're dealing with emotionally during this estrangement is very, very important so you can address what you're dealing with. The next one over here says seek connection, right? Invest in people and activities that can help you restore a sense of your identity as a person and meaning in your life. Some parents put their life on hold and hope that letting their child know how much they are suffering will bring the child back into their orbit. Actually, the opposite is often true. Going on with your life and doing well can relieve the estranged child from the guilt and worry that he or she may be experiencing. Yes, the estranged adult children are often insignificant pain themselves. Doing well in your life lets your child know that you are resilient and creates your best chance of reconnecting at some point in the future. That's kind of what I was saying. Not in that sense, but I was kind of saying it, doing well for yourself, being on top of your emotions, looking to keep the depression and the anxiety and the sadness away helps you operate on a normal, at least a normal level in life. It's kind of hard to maintain a job if you're going to work depressed all the time. It's kind of hard to maintain friendships if you're coming up to friendly events and you're sad and down. Don't want to be a downer. And that'll help. All these things have an effect on you, and they'll slowly add up and compound together to decrease your well-being in life. And if you're not doing well in life while dealing with this estrangement, how can your child come into your life, or how can you repair that relationship if everything around you is crumbling? You gotta keep all that up. And the seeking connection, that you gotta connect with different people to make sure that you can stay on top of your well-being and psyche, so that when you connect with your children, you'll be at peace already. So you'll be able to deal with whatever happens with that relationship or the interaction with that relationship when it comes to reestablishing a relationship with your child. Your mind gotta be at peace to be able to successfully accomplish your goal of deleting that estrangement and reconnecting with your children. All right. So this last one here, and then we'll be done. God, thank you for tuning in to Father's Day. The last one says seek forgiveness. Now this one's probably going to be hard because, forgiveness it's out of your hands. You can do everything right, and still not be able to get the forgiveness from your child. So seeking forgiveness is only talking about your process to go get it from them. It doesn't guarantee that they're going to forgive you. But guess what? Like I said before, if you're if your mind is at peace, your mind is well, your well-being is intact, you'll be able to deal with and accept what they have to do, if they're going to give it or not, and you'll be able to continue living on a normal, peaceful life. And it won't hurt you too much. It won't take away from you to deteriorate your life, right? Seek forgiveness. Your child may not forgive you. First sentence, first line in the thing. Your child may not forgive you, but that doesn't mean you aren't deserving of forgiveness for your mistakes. As a parent, put the focus on learning to forgive yourself as you make amends for your mistakes. Don't expect the self-forgiveness process to go quickly or easily. It is actually preceded by processing hurt, anger, and regret. But the self-resulting peace of mind will be worth it. And forgiving yourself will make it easier for you to give your adult child whether or not you are reconnected. Man, it's like, just like I was saying, if you are at peace with yourself for the right reasons, and you're operating in that, when it comes to seeking this relationship back with your children, check and make sure I'm straight. When it comes to seeking that with your children, your estranged children, you're going to be all right regardless of what happens. Whether they forgive you or not, you're going to be all right. Whether they acknowledge you or not, you're going to be all right. Whether the relationship is repaired or not, you're going to be all right. You got to forgive yourself for you messing up. You got to look at yourself and repair yourself, be on top of your own emotions before you can try to engage in someone else's emotions and engage in that relationship to rebuild it back with them. You got to be okay with yourself, right? You got to seek forgiveness. Okay, let's go back over these three right here. The estranged parents, seek support, seek a connection with them, seek forgiveness. To be able to do all of this, you got to be well up here. That first step, seek support, can help you get there. Right? Seek support, man. Seek forgiveness. Being estranged doesn't have to be forever. I'm about to end this, but I want to tell all the fathers out there who are estranged, man. Keep your head up, one. Keep your head up. Stay positive. Make sure you're staying on top of your emotions. I know it's rough out here, man. we don't really get that much love and credit and acknowledgement for what we go through as fathers, right? And you got to ask yourself, do I need that in order to operate in my full presence of being a good dad? For me, that answer is nah. What that thing say down here? It say, on the third one, what it say, seek forgiveness. What does it say? It says, your child, first sentence, your child may not forgive you, but guess what? But that does not mean you aren't deserving of forgiveness for your mistakes as a parent. I don't need nobody to tell me that they forgive me for me to be all right. I don't need nobody to tell me you're doing a good job as a father for me to be all right. In my opinion, I don't even, if you say it or not, it don't matter, because you shouldn't even be getting thanks for what you should be doing anyway. I don't need nobody to give me no hug. I don't need nobody to tell me nothing like that. It feels great. It feels amazing, but you don't need it. Even if you deserve it, you don't need it for you to operate at your highest level of fatherhood. We need to operate as fathers, point blank, period. But I ain't gonna let you down right here. Check this out. People out there, children, baby mamas, society, make that man feel good. Tell him he doing a good job. Tell him he matters, even if he ain't there. Tell him you matter. We need you here. We need you back in our lives. Your child needs you. He needs both of us. Let that man know that his presence is wanted. Maybe he dealing with some inner demons that he might not be aware of. Maybe he be dealing with some inner demons he might not have control of. You might be that missing piece that he might need. For me, I don't need it. I'm gonna be a good dad. I'm gonna focus on my children regardless, dog. Regardless, because I love being a dad. My children need me and I need them. But you might need an extra boost. Give that man an extra boost, society. Tell him he's worthy of praise. Tell him he's worthy of attention. Tell him he's worthy of being wanted. Tell him he matters. Children, it's not your responsibility for that parent to be back in your life and do what they're supposed to do. But guess what? Telling your parent you love them, that feels amazing. That feels amazing. To have your child come up to you or call you or text you or write you, I love you. I love you. I love all y'all. I'm gonna end it right here before I get too deep in this junk, man. Things start changing. I ain't trying to bust no tear on this junk, man, but I just want to tell y'all this, man. Fathers are very important to me. I don't take this lightly. I like to have fun with it. When I have my guests on the show, we trip out, we act a fool, you know what I'm saying? We address all type of crazy topics. But listen to this, man. Fathers are important. We really are. I love all y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content. Click on the Father's Day playlist. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play a quick video. You can just click on the Father's Day playlist. Bow. That was quiet. It was real quiet, boy. Ah! Woo! Go to YouTube, type in SPMediaTV in the search bar. Click on the channel page, click on the playlist, and go to the Father's Day playlist to access all our Father's Day content and other content we may have. Subscribe to the channel, share it, help us get to 1,000 followers. It's a lot, but it's a little bit because it's a million of y'all out there watching. Kinda, I think. Follow the Facebook page, man. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. It has been quite a long week for me, but because I do a lot. But please follow the Facebook page. No excuses made over here. Follow the YouTube page. Help us grow the Facebook channel and the YouTube channel to 1,000. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in. Man. It's your boy Midway right here, man. Let's take this out. It's not just any day, it's Father's Day. We out here, man. Let's go.